Oh, I was there, hated the day. The day was a miserable day. I mean, it was the worst royal engagement I ever did, a royal wedding I ever did.
Actually, this does look like a moon bump to me.
Are you buying that excuse that Meghan Markle used a fake belly to protect her real belly? I'm not buying this.
What if I told you the most talked about royal escapee didn't vanish by hiding, but by controlling the narrative? Every camera, every lens completely play with Meghan Markle. Going quiet is never random. It's calculated. Disappearing isn't a mistake, it's a carefully
And I travelled the world with him,
move.
and I did really enjoy working with him. But, you know, now I really don't care if I ever see him again, because the way he's behaved towards the king and our queen and his brother and his sister-in-law is appalling.
While other royals stand for duty, tradition, and generations of restraint, Meghan plays a very different game, one built on spotlight chasing and carefully packaged victimhood. If you're ready to see how the strategy really works, stay with us, watch till the end, and decide for yourself who's telling the truth.
She delivered it like an actress delivered it, an opera responded going, wow.
She had the ability to transform a simple camera moment into worldwide headlines before the palace could even react, and yet, the one scene every royal photographer was anticipating, the unmistakable pregnancy glow, ended up becoming the most restricted and elusive image in recent royal history.
G. Harrison, Mountbatten Windsor, was the name, and had nothing to do with the royal family.
Arthur Edwards, a photographer who has documented 6 generations of the royal family, revealed that he was instructed to keep his distance. Think about that for a moment. The very camera that once captured Princess Diana as warmth and vulnerability was shut out during Meghan's maternity period. Yet even with traditional press kept away, attention never left her. Carefully choreographed interviews, emotional documentary moments, and a Netflix deal more substantial than royal protocol itself kept the focus firmly in place. Meghan didn't just enter a royal marriage, she aligned herself with the digital age. And this isn't a story about crowns or gossip columns. It's about the narrative that was quietly pushed out of sight.
You're gonna see or hear Meghan Markle's belly pop. You're gonna see these people's faces. And I can tell you that one of these people is now speaking out.
No genuine public bump photos of Meghan Markle ever surfaced, and what Arthur Edwards later disclosed, when the silence ended, shed new light on why. This wasn't rumor or tabloid chatter. It was a battle over royal image control. Traditionally, royal pregnancies began with public moments and balcony announcements. Meghan's unfolded under a media shutdown. When most royals share the news, cameras erupt everywhere. Kate Middleton appears, and it instantly becomes headline history. Meghan Markle appears, and photographers are abruptly ordered to step back. It was as if Buckingham Palace hit the emergency stop on the entire British press corps.
I mean, obviously, when William was born and Harry was born and George and Charlotte and Louis, we got great pictures outside the hospital, I remember. And William and Catherine especially, they made such an effort to show the whole world their new baby.
Arthur Edwards, someone who has spent more time near the crown than much of the family itself, was left genuinely puzzled. Over a 45-year career, he had documented every royal pregnancy, public gesture, and controversy with crystal clear accuracy. But when it came to Meghan, there was nothing, no access, no scheduled photo moments, just a courteous but firm instruction to keep his distance. It was the kind of quiet that spoke louder than any banner headline. And for someone who publicly championed authenticity, the vanishing act was so complete it would have impressed Houdini himself.
What is moon bump theory? Well, basically, it suggests that Meghan didn't actually give birth to these children and that she was wearing a prosthetic bump. And of course, lots of medical experts have come out looking at that video and saying it's just impossible for someone who's literally 9 months pregnant and about to give birth to dance in that way.
Reporters quietly started asking the same question. Why all the secrecy? Was it really about privacy? Or was it about control? Because nothing signals modern transparency quite like a full media shutdown enforced by palace security. At the same time, Meghan perfected the trick of being constantly visible without offering any proof. She seemed to be everywhere, yet the one thing people expected to see never appeared. The palace PR engine worked overtime, the tabloids grew louder, and Arthur Edwards continued waiting for a photograph that never arrived. And if that silence felt unusual, what finally shattered it was even more unexpected.
Meghan Markle has posted a cringy video of her and Prince Harry dancing in a hospital.
It began with a short, grainy clip barely 5 seconds long that hit Kensington Palace like an explosion. Meghan Markle, visibly 9 months pregnant, drops into a deep squat, springs back up, and turns with the ease of someone auditioning for a dance show. Online investigators immediately went to work. Frames were paused, footage slowed. Zooms applied, and suddenly the so-called moon bump theory found its most talked about example. Medical voices weighed in, questioning how someone that far along could move so freely. Twitter erupted, Reddit users assembled detailed timelines, and YouTube became a non-stop courtroom debating pregnancy physics. Headlines stopped sounding celebratory and started sounding skeptical, while the palace responded with carefully worded silence. Meghan's PR machine released soft-lit lifestyle images that resembled luxury eye campaigns, flattering glow, flawless angles, and no raw moments in sight. It was all polish, no proof, wrapped in cinematic lighting and guarded by silence.
I agree. I'm not a Meghan Markle fan, and I don't defend her, and there's all sorts of inconsistencies and hypocrisies, but, you know, she's an actress. She's not the brightest cookie in the basket. There's no way Kate would do anything like that.
But this is where the situation crossed into truly strange territory as the rumors grew louder. The palace response shrank into near silence. Every ignored question only fueled the fire. When Arthur Edwards later confirmed that photographers had been directly instructed not to photograph her pregnancy, online audiences didn't interpret it as caution, they took it as validation. Speculation spread, allegiances fractured, and one heavy question lingered: if there was nothing to conceal, why surround the truth with walls? Every controversy has its quiet source. In the Meghan mystery, that voice emerged from the margins, a bystander who claimed she had witnessed more than the polished narratives ever revealed. She wasn't part of the royal inner circle, just someone moving on the edges of the Sussex orbit. But the moment she suggested the picture-perfect story didn't fully match reality, the atmosphere shifted, messages stopped, doors shut, and unspoken warnings settled in "don't ask, don't repeat." For longtime palace observers, it felt uncomfortably familiar.
The thing that strikes me is her lack of understanding and recognition of the role that she had or has in the royal family. And, you know, both of them have been on the record repeatedly saying they don't want to be living their lives through the lens of a camera and in a goldfish bowl and all of that. And then they take the camera into the most private of rooms where you're about to deliver
The warning
baby.
signs weren't new. Remember Paul Page, the former royal guard who spoke publicly about life behind palace walls, only to find an ominous letter waiting for him afterward? The system of enforced silence has been finely tuned for generations. This witness reportedly encountered the same invisible pressure. Courteous phone calls that slowly turned intimidating, friends who suddenly stopped replying, job opportunities that vanished without explanation. And the irony was, sharp, the more effort made to suppress her voice, the more attention the internet paid. She had no title and no PR protection, but her fear communicated more than any headline ever could. Someone, somewhere, wanted this subject buried beneath palace stone. In the monarchy's unwritten rules, loyalty is a form of currency, and speaking out of turn can cost everything. Behind every polished royal smile sits a strategy room built on tradition, optics, and plausible deniability. As the Meghan mystery began gaining traction, insiders say the palace didn't rush to put out the fire. They reached for a script. Because the crown doesn't eliminate scandals, it manages them like a centuries-old PR institution draped in diamonds. Then came a moment that shook the narrative. In the early hours of May 6th, a message surfaced claiming the Duke and Duchess of Sussex had used a surrogate, followed by a formal apology for any confusion. To this day, that statement has never been conclusively disproven. Under royal law, succession requires a child to be born from the mother herself, which led critics to ask why there were so many carefully staged displays of a growing belly. Why the exaggerated movements, the visible sway, the extended timeline? Later, when Spare was released, parts of the story appeared to contradict earlier implications, deepening confusion rather than resolving it. Within palace corridors, staff reportedly whispered about media strategy sessions where every word was filtered repeatedly and stress-tested for optics. No one wanted to be responsible for igniting the rumor machine. The long-standing royal mantra, "never complain, never explain," sounds noble until it becomes clear. It often translates to silence and hope that public memory fades. But the internet doesn't forget. It archives. While Meghan cultivated a global image from California, officials in London were attempting the impossible, protecting the monarchy's image, without appearing to shield anyone in particular. Emails disappeared, briefings became riddles, and Arthur Edwards, the veteran photographer kept outside palace gates, became a living symbol of that silence. Even the most powerful institution on earth still fears an unfiltered photograph inside the palace. Truth wasn't erased, it was catalogued, marked sensitive, and locked away. The monarchy has always run onto forces, tradition, and control. And when speculation about the Sussex saga brushed against the issue of succession, even the chandeliers seemed to shake out for centuries, the royal bloodline has been treated like a flawless equation, one wrong variable, and the system destabilizes. As social media began questioning timelines, titles, and announcements, palace silence shifted from dignified to uneasy. History offered warnings. Edward VIII lost a crown for love. Diana shattered illusions by speaking out. Now a streaming generation was dissecting royal narratives in real time. Every meme, freeze frame, and viral clip chipped away at protocol. The monarchy was no longer being debated, it was being binge-watched. Then attention turned to the doctor reportedly involved in the birth. At first, the story sounded neat and official, but it unraveled quickly. Dates didn't align, appearances raised eyebrows, statements conflicted. Within days, confusion replaced certainty. For an institution obsessed with precision and choreography, the contradictions were glaring. And instead of clarifying, the palace defaulted again to silence, creating a vacuum that speculation rushed to fill. Every unanswered question became fuel, because when the institution refuses to verify itself, the internet gladly does the work. By the time the dust settled, one reality remained clear: the crown may guard its secrets well, but it has not adapted to the digital age. Silence, once powerful, now amplifies doubt. Even the late queen understood this language. She rarely spoke directly, but gestures mattered. When a framed photograph quietly disappeared from a Christmas broadcast backdrop, no statement was required. Royal watchers noticed immediately. Objects in those settings are placed with intention. That absence spoke volumes. The monarchy doesn't shout, it signals. And that quiet message landed harder than any press release. Calm, controlled, unmistakable. A reminder that silence is never accidental, it's strategic. But history shows that when the crown goes quiet, it's rarely the end, it's the beginning of something deeper.